Hey everybody, it's Norris with the Norris Group. It is Friday, November 2nd, and did you hear about Netflix's new horror series on flippers? That and much more as we cover the biggest headlines in real estate. Don't miss a radio show and podcast this week. We have got the 5th installment of I Survive Real Estate. If you want to watch the entire video, you're going to be able to catch that on YouTube, or you're going to be able to catch it on Facebook, and now Amazon. So if you want to see the entire panel and the entire show uninterrupted, you can check out any of those channels. And if you'd like more information on the speakers and how to donate and to download the program from the event, check out isurviverealestate.com. The latest Case-Shiller index showed home price gains were only 0.1%, putting it at a 5.5% higher than last year, but its slowest annual increase in almost 2 years. According to the National Association of Realtors, home prices in metro markets increased by 4.8% in the third quarter. Mortgage applications decreased 2.5% from last week, and mortgage rates decreased, with 30-year rates now at 4.83% and 15-year rates at 4.23%. Speaking of mortgage rates, why is it that we even have 30-year mortgage rates? Why 30 years? Well, this all happened back in the 1920s. During this time, the typical mortgage was only 3 to 5 years with a variable interest rate. Payment would cover the interest only, and then people would go back to borrow the money again for another 3 to 5 years, as long as the bank would do so. However, when the Great Depression hit, everyone started pulling their money, creating a financial crisis, leaving hundreds of thousands of people facing foreclosure. But in comes good old Franklin D. Roosevelt and the New Deal in 1933. Congress creates the Homeowners Loan Corporation to buy failing mortgages and convert them into longer-term loans for the first time, including interest and principal payments all wrapped into one. Enter the 15-year mortgage. FHA would push it later to 20, 25, and now 30. And during the last recession, we even saw things go up to 40. And when they were doing modifications, they would extend it further. So still, banks weren't keen to make these loans. So once again, Congress stepped in, giving Freddie and Fannie authorization to buy these loans from the bank. At that point, banks had enough incentive to finally make these loans, knowing they could get them off their books via the GSEs. Think Realty shared the top 7 apps investors need to know about. Always on the go, and most of us don't have a home office or a physical office, so mobile is super important. So for 2018, the top 7 they thought were mandatory for real estate investors are Trello, Zoom for mobile meetings, DocuSign for signing legal documents, Hootsuite for managing social media, MailChimp for email list and marketing, Home Depot mobile app for materials and supplies, and G Suite for planning and logistics. I use 5 of those, so I would agree. Among a third of Australians rent, and the number is only growing. With growth comes the Australian government stepping in, and perhaps that's because there are some very interesting conditions that Australian landlords seem to be sneaking into their rental agreements. Some of my favorites are not being able to fry food in the house, no family or friends can stay over, tenants are responsible for any cost of repairs once they move into the place. I really like that one, but I don't think that's legal, at least in California it's not. Dogs have to be on a leash 24 hours a day. Property inspections every 4 weeks. That just seems crazy to me. If you unpack a suitcase, you can only do so in the kitchen. You can't slide pots and pans onto the stovetop, because apparently it just gives you the chills and nobody likes that. And you can't use excessive water on timber flooring when you're cleaning. How you're checking up on that, I don't know. California as a whole experienced its worst slump in 10 years, with both new and existing houses and condominiums sold having decreased 18% compared to September of last year, according to CoreLogic. So that was the slowest September on pace since 2007, when the national housing and mortgage crisis occurred, of course. So although the median price for Southern California homes was $505,000 and 3.6% higher than last year, it was still the slowest annual gain for the month in 3 years. On a monthly basis, sales fell 22% in September compared to August. Sales usually fall about 10% at this time of year, so a little more than normal. Sales of newly built homes are suffering more than sales of existing homes, but that's because fewer are also being built. So a few things to watch out for coming into 2019. How many hours do you need to work to afford your mortgage in each city? Well, it turns out it isn't what you would think. The cities that have the most expensive houses aren't the places where you have to work the greatest number of hours just to pay for them. The cost information website How Much pulled together the median salary in each city and divided it by 40 to find the median hourly rate you need to make to be able to afford those 30-year mortgages. Well, California, of course, is still dominant, with 7 of the top 10 cities being in the state. As you will see, although the median house in San Francisco and San Jose are close, it takes San Francisco 33 more hours per week to pay their mortgage. Here's the top 10 cities that you're going to have to work longer to pay for your house. You've got New York City at 113 hours, Los Angeles, Miami, San Francisco, Boston, Oakland, Long Beach, San Diego, Santa Ana, and San Jose. All right, so I completely binged on a Netflix series this last week, since it was Halloween. I don't even like horror flicks, but Netflix launched The Haunting of Hill House. And I got into it because it's about a flipper, so you had me there. I wanted to make sure they were representing. So the series is based on a novel by Shirley Jackson, and it follows flip hackers, the Cranes. They move into the Hill House, and they plan on living in it while they renovate it, and if they just get this one done, they're going to make a killing, and they'll just be able to move on with life and never flip again. This house is epic. It's old. Think of like Downton Abbey size, old wood panels, and it's always interesting to see, if they're doing it right. As a flipper, I already was getting a cold sweat just thinking about renovating this house. And it has everything from mold issue, water issues, a hailstorm that probably destroys a roof, and all kinds of structural issues on top of the horror. So I'm a nerd, I'm looking at that kind of stuff. But I had to laugh. This is the very first time we're reviewing a movie, so I'm gonna give it a solid C overall. And as far as representing our community, I'm gonna give it a C. The guy didn't even know there was a basement downstairs. And that's where the mold problem was. Come on. If you're on YouTube, please leave a comment below, and don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss a beat. If you're on Facebook, please don't forget to not only like the Norris Group page, but don't forget to add us to your See First list and with notifications on. Leave your comments below the video, and if we miss something, share the story on our comment sections on either YouTube or Facebook, and we'll make sure to include it on our blog at thenorrisgroup.com/blog. We would love to see you out and about. November 8th, I'm going to be doing technology trends and its effects on real estate at OC REIA. We'd love to see you in Orange County. November 10th, Intelligent Investors Real Estate Conference. I'll be speaking there on a panel. You won't want to miss that. It's a really great 2-day lineup for real estate investors out along the coast. And January 26th, please mark your calendars. We are releasing a market timing report, California real estate on borrowed time. More information is coming up on that next week. For more information on all of our events, as well as hard money loans, including fix and flip, buy and hold, and new construction in California and in Florida, check out thenorrisgroup.com. That's also the site I want you to go to if you're interested in passive investing with trust deeds and mortgages. Just click the Invest tab. With that, have a fantastic weekend, and we'll see you next week.